The parts in a grand action are a vertical array. They're designed to be straight up and down. But they're complicated in shape, and their motion interrelates with each other, and that has complexity to it. So if we can simplify the individual pairing of the parts and the overall sections of the parts and the overall action into something that it actually works vertically rather than a little bit this and a little bit that, we have a leg up when we come to the final laps of voicing and tuning. So the squaring platform and the shank traveler and the hammer square, they require that you go to each shank and each hammer and with a yes or a no, make it vertical. This is perhaps more work than you would like to attend to this particular step, but it saves work, anxiety, and gains clarity and ease of fit. We have confidence. We know the hammers are correct. And when we fit the strings to the hammers, we know the strings are correct. And we have a system which has built a very stable regulation. And the way we weigh things off troubleshoots the friction. So it's even from note to note. And the sections just blend one into the next. And much of the voicing is done for us by way of the simplicity that that meticulous step-by-step work produces. And we don't waste a lot of our psychic and physical energy in deciding who's good enough to keep, who's bad enough to have to change. And that's a moving target. So as we correct some things now, there are other ones that show up, and it's just easier in the end to just do it one after another correctly. And we have accumulated accuracy as we come into the complexities of how the piano sounds. So one way of accomplishing the fit between hammers and strings is to employ sandpaper in one form or another. And I find that totally daunting. Have the action in, I have the exertion of going up and lifting the hammer to the string, pluck, 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 oh, this one needs something, and then pulling the action out and microfiling it and then putting it back in. And then where are we? We have a hammer that has a unique shape, and then we put the soft pedal on, that unique shape moves over. And then we have to micromanage the voicing of what happens when it moves over. Whereas if you have each hammer have its natural integrity out of the set and in its shape, there's just a bigger chance that the three strings that we're striking are going to sound like each other, vibrate like each other, and fit in with the neighboring strings and their hammers. So a plug for the regulation station and the tools. It's a different way of looking at it. You put a little more energy into certain procedures, but you don't go around in circles. You don't go back and forth from bench to piano. You don't arrive at the piano with a lot of unknowns that you then have to troubleshoot and go back to the bench with. And there's a certain joy and empowerment that you come to the end of the regulation with that is part of the payback. So the tools actually make the overall process faster. If you do a deep regulation and you do all of these steps anyway at the piano or back and forth to the bench, it takes a lot of time and energy. And this organizes it so you go from one end of the action to the other. The regulation part is fast. The preparation is deeper, perhaps because we have more time, but also because it makes a clear difference. We have references to know that this is different from this. And so we look to why and correct it. And then we develop procedures that start with note 1, go to note 88, and make them all the same in the ways that matter. So thank you. I'm Christopher Brown. I designed the regulation station. It's my offering to help you with your grand regulating. Thank you very much.